Neonic Void Productions presents.
Huh?
I hope my mic isn't catching my cat.
Oh.
Don't hear.
No, I don't hear it.
Good. She's losing her fucking mind. Hi, welcome to Spookapocalypse, where my cat, the three-legged queen icon legend herself, is a full-ass drama queen. I am one of your hosts, Zio, and today I'm joined with, the posse, the crew, Mad Chairman, Housekeeper, and Bunyip.
Yeah.
Yay! Before we get into today's episode.
What? Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Do your job.
Huh? What
Do
job?
your job.
If you like this podcast, make sure you follow and rate us on whatever site you listen to your podcast. Links are down in the description for other podcasts that are going to be part of the Neonic family. New episodes will be uploaded every Saturday. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, because I'm never going to fucking call it that stupid ass name. Our handle is at Spookapocalypse. That's at SPOOKALYPSE. We are also on YouTube. If you are on YouTube with us, hi, hello, welcome. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. You just got to slap it around a little. It'll turn on. Drop a comment in this episode on something that you want to hear us what is it, review. But this is a very special episode today, so why don't you drop a comment on what your favorite part of this movie was, because I know that a lot of people were looking forward to this movie, because I was one of them. Now we're going to be doing some spooky shit. On to the discussion, and the mints are going to be on the pillow. And today's flavor of mints is cupcakes.
Oh, that makes sense. So, I was going somewhere and my mind went, Halloween. Hi, happy Halloween. What's good? What's up, hoppin'? Again, my mind is frying. So the last couple of weeks we've been doing Shudderween. Is that what I called it this year? Shudderween.
Something like that.
Yeah, Shudderween. And we were been talking about how we were going to do this, how we are going to do something special for Halloween. So we are recording this on a Friday night, the 27th, the day before this episode goes up, or the night before the episode goes up. And you may be asking yourself, oh my God, what are y'all talking about today? Bitch, we're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
From Universal Studios and Blumhouse. Directed by Emma Tammy. Screenplay is obviously by Scott Kaufman. Yeah.
Tammy? Emma Tammy?
Tammy.
I don't know. My mom has a childhood friend. Her name is Tammy, and that's how she spells it. So I'm just gonna assume it's Tammy. If it's not Tammy, I apologize, Miss Emma. I don't know what your last name is.
Yeah. So the director also was taking part in the screenplay, as well as Seth
Kaufman.
No. Yes. Scott Kaufman, but Seth.
Seth. Where did the name
Cuddybutt?
Cuddyback? I don't know.
Cuddyback?
My God. Seth, sir.
Sorry for mispronouncing your name, sir. Story by Scott Hoffman, of course, Chris Lee Hill, and Tyler
McIntyre.
Yes. Of course, this is based on Five Nights at Freddy's by Scott Hoffman. Of course, produced by Scott
Cawthon.
Hoffman. Cawthon?
Cawthon. You're saying like
Cawthon.
Kaufman.
Cawthon. Cawthon. Of course, this is based on the game. Scott's a producer as well as Jason Blum, starring Josh Hutcherson, Elizabeth Lale, Matthew Leonard.
King.
Huh?
I said King.
Oh, yeah. AKA from Scream. Yeah, this movie was released on the 25th in the UK and October 25th, 2023 in the UK and October 27th, 2023 in the United States. Or technically speaking on the 26th of October 2023. Technically speaking, because theaters had it on the 26th as well as Peacock. Because it got released Thursday night. Music is done by the Newton Brothers and Living Tombstone. Oh, that's cool. I know he did that. I know he had his song in there. I didn't know he actually did the music for the movie. Work. So, this is obviously based on the game franchise. It follows the kind of the first game. So,
For the most part, yeah.
ladies and gentlemen and others listening, now do me a favor, okay? Imagine in your mind all the lore and games and the books, because the books and the video games are two different lores. Take those lores and throw them out the window, because when you see this movie, don't have those in your head, because you're going to become one of those fans. It's like, this doesn't follow like the story. It's not supposed to, babe. It's not supposed to.
It follows a good amount though. Like, okay, oh hey, we're gonna do a little bit of a warning. If you have not watched this movie yet,
Yeah.
there's going to be spoilers in it. So
Yeah.
if you don't want any spoilers in it for this movie because you want to wait to watch it, don't listen. Watch the movie and then come back. Watch the movie and then
Period.
come back.
Period.
Please.
Period.
Thank you.
So, again, take the lore, what you're expecting. Because I'm sorry, IGN, I'm coming for you today. A 4 out of 10, really? And the fact that there's two,
IGN.
IGN, yes, 4 out of 10. But one of the reasons is too much plot. Not enough security cameras. I'm not joking.
Wow.
Too much plot. Plot. Wait, let me go on their website and I'll read it off for you, because I'm about to drag them for filth. Because I think it's
IGN. So
IGN, yeah. Well, I know, but I think it's fucking stupid.
We want the movie to have exactly the same type of shit that we saw in the video game. That would be boring.
how?
Oh, okay. So here it is, and I quote: they give it a 4 out of 10. It's bad. This big screen take on the indie horror sensation has too much plot and not enough the game's primal security cam thrills.
Y'all are fucking dumb as hell.
What do you mean too much plot?
fuck
It
is
actually gave it a plot.
Like, it's just like, it explains the plot better than the fucking bitch. You cannot expect a game that's just basically jump scares, because that's all the game is.
To have a plot in the first game. The first game has no plot.
Like, you know how boring that movie would be if you're literally just sitting there for the whole night shift at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, and that's all you're seeing is just Mike go sit at the fucking thing and then him just scroll through camera. That's fucking boring as hell. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. Like, who wrote this? A fucking 12-year-old? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Dowd? DOWD? Yeah, I'm calling you out, sir. So,
The thing we watched.
Who wants to do the plot?
The too much plot?
Apparently. Who wants to do the too much plot?
Well, damn, don't everybody speak up at once. Fine. I will, because I've been looking forward to this movie, I think, the most out of everybody here.
Do
Damn.
it.
Okay.
I just
So, bullshit. Bullshit. I've been the one you're like, maybe it might be okay. Meh, meh. And
I
I'm all like,
have
it's gonna be
faith.
amazing. Anyway, so the movie starts off in Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria, and you see a security guard panicking, trying to open up a what looks to be a air duct. He does open it, and he crawls through the air ducts and ends up somewhere in the pizzeria and gets cornered by Foxy, I believe, to where he gets tied up and then brutally murdered by a Freddy Fazbear mask with blades in it.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's literally the opening scene. I fucking love that shit. First off, side note, did it throw anybody off whenever you heard the dum dee dum 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 and it was Foxy singing it?
No,
Because
I didn't play the game.
I swear it was Freddy who was singing the dum dee dums. So like to hear Foxy, I was like, huh. Maybe I
I
was
don't
wrong.
remember. I don't
don't know.
remember. I don't remember who did
remember-
the dum diddy dums.
Yeah, I had to go back and play it again. But like
I
I
remember
swear
Foxy
it was
doing it
Freddy.
in the first game.
Was it Foxy? Okay. I
Yep.
was probably like it was
Freddy
so
just
long ago.
laughs.
Yeah, he laughs.
Anyway, I swear, like I thought it was Freddy that was doing it, but again, I hadn't played it in so long. I haven't visited it again. I should. And then it cuts to our main character Mike waking up, getting ready for work, and getting his little sister ready to go to school, I believe. He goes to work as a mall cop. To where he talks with like one of his coworkers about like dream theories and how like, oh, you can unlock lost memories through your dreams because your brain never really truly forgets memories, they just lock them away. So like you can, instead of becoming an observer in your dreams, you can be an active participant in your dreams. He goes to get the ice cream, and as he's waiting in line for his ice cream, he notices that there's a kid like standing alone in the mall. And like he's kind of concerned about it. And then he sees like the kid get snatched up by a man. And he goes and chases after him, tackles him into the water fountain, and starts beating his ass. Turns out that he mistook this man for kidnapping the kid whenever this man was who had lost him for a minute. He then is sent to a career counselor. The career counselor's name is Steve Ragland. And he kind of like scolds him. He's like, there's not much I could do for you, bro. Like you're like, it's like you're not trying and everything. I just want to know who you are, Mike. You know what? I have a job for you. I
Because
have a
that's
job,
suspicious.
right? Like, you know what it was giving me? It was giving me Jack Sparrow whenever he found out what William Turner's name was.
Right.
Like, that's what it was giving me. I was like, you just pulled a freaking Jack Sparrow on his ass. It's like, you know what? I changed my mind. Just all like, you got that name from your father? Fantastic. So he's like, you know what? I have a job for you, Michael Schmidt. It's not a good job. The pay's kind of bad. The hours are even fucking worse. But hey, it's a job. And Mike's like, can't do nights, bro. I'm gonna leave. And he's like, whatever. Your loss. Can't work nights, Mike. And then he has a social services meeting with his aunt, her lawyer, and the caseworker. The aunt is arguing that he's not a good enough guardian for his little sister Abby, that it's stupid that he was put in charge of her because she's mentally ill, And the reason why she says that she's mentally ill is because all she does is draw pictures all day and talk to creatures that don't exist. And I'm like, you mean like being 7?
Yes, I was like, that's every kid that I've
That's a
ever known.
exactly. I was like, you mean like being 7? Wait, how old is she? She's like 6, right? Like
I think so.
6 or 7, somewhere around there. She's a child, younger than the age of 10. It's like, ma'am, what kind of childhood did you have? Anyway, yeah. So she threatens Mike, saying like, oh yeah, like I'm just gonna take you to court if you don't agree to sign this turnover of custody of your sister. And Mike's like, dude, all she wants is the fucking monthly check from the state. That's all she wants. She doesn't care about Abby.
I love the
And
lawyer. He's hilarious.
dude, he's so fucking like he's
1,000-yard stare.
I think he's just done with her, man. He's just all like he's dealt with her for years at this point that he
Mhm.
just like kind of like dissociates whenever he's next to this lady. Which, you know what? I would too. I
Feel
would
that. Yeah.
too. So after this meeting, he is kind of reluctant, but he calls back Steve Raglan and is just like, you know what? I'll take the job.
Yup.
So on the first night that he's there, he falls asleep, and it shows the dreams that he has about a kidnapping of his younger brother and presumed murder of his brother Garrett. Um this is not I think this is not the first time you've seen this dream. The first time it happens is before he works. They're camping. Um a soda spills, the mom leaves to go clean it up, and she's like, hey, watch your brother. He's like, okay. A frisbee goes flying, and he goes and gets the frisbee. As he stands straight and like looks back at his brother, he sees that his brother is gone and in the back of a car and driving away. He chases after the car. This, like, in the dream, he's a child, the age that he was whenever his brother Garrett got kidnapped. But then as he's chasing the car, it is adult Mike chasing after, and he can't seem to catch the car. In this dream, it's the same. It goes through everything, but then he sees 5 kids standing there. There's one with bunny ears. There's one holding a hook. There's a little boy with blonde hair. There's a little boy with um a top hat. And then there's a little girl. And he asks them, hey, did you see what just happened with my brother? And they kind of just stare at him for a second before running away. And he chases after them, trips in the dream, falls out of his chair, wakes up. Uh and that's the end of that one.
Yeah, I was like, that
On
was a quick night. It was immediately 6 a.m.
Yeah, well, I mean, whenever you sleep, man. But yeah, it was, a peaceful night for night 1 of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. What happens during the day? I don't think anything really happens during the day. He argues with his sister whenever getting ready for work. She doesn't want to give him like his vest, his security vest. There is a babysitter that's there. I can't remember what her name is.
I think her name was Max.
Max. Yes, her name is Max. So Max is the unpaid babysitter that stays and watches Abby while Max works. Max shows up as they're arguing, and then he leaves saying, hey, she's all yours. Like, I'm tired. I'm done. Take care. Bruh, I feel that. I feel that as a single parent. Like, he's the older brother. Like, I feel that as a single parent. Like, I'm like, you know what? Do whatever the fuck you want. Like, I'm done. I'm tired. I don't want to argue with you anymore. I feel for you, Mike. So on the second night, um, Mike meets with police officer. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't there a meeting at the diner? That's between the first night and the second night?
I think so, yes.
Okay. So during the day, I just remembered it. Sorry. So during the day, Max goes and meets up with Mike's aunt. Max and I think her brother meet up with Mike's aunt and her lawyer. And she's just like, dude, you haven't found anything, and they're like, yeah, we've scrounged that place 1,000 times. We can't find any criminal neglect on the daughter. So it's like, oh, all you've said is that, or I'm sorry, on Abby, all you've said is that like she's a great kid and that he sleeps a lot. And she's like, well, he does. And so like they're trying to plan a way of just criminalizing the fuck out of Mike to try and get Abby. And the lawyer's like, I shouldn't be here for this. I should not be here for this.
He has a moral conscience.
Well, no, as a lawyer, there's plausible deniability. So if you're not there to hear the criminal conversation, then you can't you can't say that like I was like, I don't know. It's hearsay at that point. But if you were there, part of the conversation, and then you're in a court of law and you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, and you're fucking saying, oh yeah, we never planned this shit. As a lawyer, you could lose your license. So during the second night, Mike does meets Vanessa for the first time, who is a local police officer. She tells him that the place closed in the 80s. There were 5 children that went missing. They put this wrong because in the plot that they wrote here, they say that 5 children were murdered. She never says that. She just says that they've gone missing. But this place is really close and dear to her heart. He falls asleep. Falls asleep, has the same dream, but is attacked this time by one of the kids. He gets like slashed by the kid with the hook and wakes up to find himself wounded. And that's whenever Vanessa shows up, treats his wounds, and tells him everything. Now, on the third night, that's when his Aunt Jane hires Max and her brother and like a group of other people to vandalize the restaurant during the day. So like they plan all this out. Like while this is happening in the diner though, the lawyer's like, I shouldn't be here. And Jane's like, sit your ass down. And he's just like, like that poor man. I feel so bad for that lawyer, man. I hope he's like freaking milking her money. I swear. Like if he's not getting all this money from her. Anyway, so third night happens. Or oh no, I think after they see Jane, sorry, not Jane. After they see Vanessa and like, leave the restaurant, that's whenever they call and they're like, hey, let's go, I found an opening. They go in through what looks to be a loading dock door. They go in and they just start trashing the place. They start busting up the video games, the pinball machines. They start busting open the coin machines, taking all the coins, fucking up the display cases, throwing the chairs everywhere, going into the kitchen, throwing everything everywhere. And as this is happening, one of them goes into the security room and he was going to start busting up the monitors for the security cameras. And as he tries to bust it, he just sees one of his posse men go running through the dining room, and he's like, what the
just
fuck?
Screaming.
Dude, his screaming, just like, I love that shit. That was so funny. He's like, and then like he's like, what the fuck is that? And like turns out these animatronics move during the day. And they start plucking these vandals, these delinquents, these people of debauchery. One
Debauchery.
by one. So we have Freddy, Chica, Foxy, and Bonnie. And they murder
Okay.
each and every one of them.
Mm.
After one of the vandals happens to be Max, of course. And
Girl, she didn't deserve that.
yeah, because she was sitting in the car. She was gonna be the drive away. Well, I mean, she
Yeah.
kind of did because she was
She didn't.
she was
You
playing
could tell
double
that she
agent.
never wanted to do it.
But no, she was just like, yeah, we could do this, but you're gonna give us some money. Like she cares for Abby, yeah, maybe. Like she talks
Yeah.
great about them, but she still accepted it. She still
Yeah.
accepted it, so
Yep,
she's still a piece of trash.
she did. Mhm.
She accepted the job and like she was gonna be the drive away. She was like, "Oh, these guys are taking too long. Let me check to see what happened." So,
I would have just drove away.
so she goes into the restaurant. She can't find anybody, but she sees a kid, and the kid runs off. She follows the kid into one of the back rooms. The back rooms. Uh, to where she gets knocked out, I believe. Like all you see is her get knocked out. One of them gets killed in the janitor's closet. You see like a hand, like bloody handprint smear on the window of the janitor's closet. And you don't really see what happens to the other ones. Um, but since Abby's gone, Mike can't get a hold of Abby. He has
Max.
Mike. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah, Max.
Max got chopped in
Yes,
half.
yes, yes.
She's in
I'm
two
sorry.
pieces
I'm
currently.
sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, she got bit. It's the
She got
bite.
bit in half because
It was
it's the bite of 87.
23. No, I
Because she was following the child and she thought the child go inside the animatronic and she got too close and the guy
and then they bit her.
and Freddy bit her in half.
I'm so disappointed in everybody in that theater. Not
No one says that the bite of 87.
not one. I mean, I said it, but I didn't say it loud. I said it to Zio. I was like, "Was that the
Yeah.
bite of 87?"
No, it's the bite of 2023.
Like, no, that's the bite of 2023. But no, I'm disappointed in everybody. No one said it. No one said it. Everybody that was at the Palladium, y'all suck. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just kidding.
Oh God.
I'm just kidding. Y'all don't suck. I'm just kidding. Everybody was very mature in that movie theater. Everyone was mature, other than me and Zio. So Max is gone. Mike has to now take Abby to work. Where's next
Dun, dun,
shift?
dun.
He tells her, "Don't leave this office under any circumstances. Do you hear me?" And she's like, "Yeah, okay." And she's like not paying attention. She's just excited to be there. He has to now clean up. Oh yes, Vanessa also showed up to Max's house and was just like, yeah, somebody vandalized Freddy's. You could lose your fucking job." And then he's just all like, so funny story, and then tells about how, oh yeah, like I go to sleep and I have these dreams to try and solve my brother's like kidnapping / murder every night because she found like the sleeping pills in the office.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I had to do that flashback because that like just plot. So she's in the office. He goes and cleans up the entire restaurant. Like he's sweeping up glass, everything. He stacks up all the chairs. He gets that done really quickly too, because like that would have taken me more than one night to do. I would not have been able to clean up that whole restaurant that quickly.
He sure did.
You know what? Props to you, Mike Schmidt. You're getting paid less than minimum wage and you're doing that shit. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And then he goes to sleep. As he sleeps, Abby wakes up and needs to go to the bathroom. She goes to the bathroom. As she leaves the bathroom, she hears noises coming from the stage. And she's just like, "Well, I know you're in there. Why don't you just come out?" And the animatronics are back to life. They are active. They had befriended Abby. Mike wakes up to her screaming, thinks that she's being attacked, runs out and sees the animatronics. And they start to become like hostile towards Mike. And Abby's like, no. That's my brother. He's great. And they're kind of like, oh, okay. But they kind of like treat him.
Side eye.
Yeah. They're just like, he's sus. I like you, Abby, but fuck your brother. You know? I'll be nice to him, I guess. Reluctantly. And Vanessa shows up again. And Vanessa's like, I guess you figured it out. And then that's when Vanessa's just like, oh yeah, so you know how like there's like they're not just ghosts in the like she goes like, oh yeah, they're just possessed by like the ghosts of like the children that disappeared. So yeah, surprise, those children just didn't disappear, they got murdered, and the ghosts are now possessing the animatronics. And he's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she just mentions that nonchalantly in the fact of, oh, they're possessed because their bodies are in
No,
the
she
suit.
doesn't say that till later. She doesn't say that till later.
Well, might as well have.
Yeah.
It's like the second biggest twist in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh no, the first twist, me and Zia were gooped. We were like, I think we gasped so loud. Like I think
We
like
did.
half the theater heard us. And then we started laughing at ourselves, but I could hear that there were other people laughing at us because we were like,
Gooped.
goop.
Anyway.
The gas that I ghost. So yeah, she's like, yeah. But it kind of concerns both him and Vanessa. And I think in the dream that he has, like he asked the little blonde boy, he's like, oh, do you know who took him? And he's like, yeah. But what would you give me in return? He's like, I'll give you anything you want. I'll give you anything you want. Just tell me who took my brother.
Worst mistake.
Worst mistake that he could do. On the fourth night, they go back. He takes Abby again, and he's telling Abby like, hey, they don't like to talk to me, but they like to talk to you. And after seeing one of the drawings that she has drawn, which is of Garrett in the back of the car being taken away. And he's just like, do you know what this is? And she's like, yeah, that's our brother being kidnapped. And he's just like, well, like no one's told you about this. How do you know that this is what happened? And she was like, oh, well, my friends told me. And so he's just like, you know what? Like, I have a favor to ask of you. Like, because they will talk to you. They won't talk to me. Can you ask them what they know about Garrett's kidnapping? Like who took Garrett? Like, I want to fix this. She's like, okay. So they go back for the fourth night, and like Vanessa shows up, and it's like she's kind of getting concerned that she's there again, that Abby's there again. And like Mike explains the situation. And then he's just like, oh, well, you know, if we're going to be playing with these animatronics, these machines that could be very dangerous, we got to set some ground rules. Because, like, she wants to make, I think, a fort. Yeah, she wants to make a fort. And he, like, turns to Vanessa and he's like, well, what do you think, Vanessa? What do you think about making ground rules? And she's like, I think we can use the chairs for the fort. And I was like, oh, my God. Okay, whatever. And so they...
Fort montage.
The fort montage. And then, oh, my God, it's so cute. Means you were like, I love them. Like us falling in love with these animatronics.
I mean, they're literally just
They're
children.
just kids. They just want to play. And like they build it, and then she's like, it needs to be taller. And as they build it taller, like the very last one, they put the table on top, and like Abby's like, you did it. And then you just see Bonnie like just roll their eyes back and then fall backwards like they fainted. And I was like, I love them. They're so cute. For now. For now. They lay in the fort, and they're like, oh, this is great. And then like Abby's like, yeah, but I think it might rain. And Vanessa's like, you know what? Let's go find some tablecloths so we can roof. And so like then Mike's like, you know what? I'm gonna go with you. And he turns to Abby and is just like, don't forget to ask them about Garrett. And she's like, yeah, okay. So they go into the storage room. They're looking for stuff, and he's just like, "You know a lot about this restaurant." He's just like, it's kind of sus, you know? And like he sees another little animatronic, or suit, I should say. It's one of the ones that people can get into, and walk around the restaurant with. Because there were some suits that employees could put on and, interact with the kids. This was one of them. This one strangely looks like Baby. As soon as I saw this animatronic, I was like, it's Baby. It's Baby. I know those blushy cheeks anywhere. That's Baby. And he was like, no, but this one has blonde hair. Baby has
I personally don't think it's Baby, but it could very well be Baby.
Because it is, because it's red. It does have red hair. Because if you look at whenever later on in the movie, what happens, you see the curly red hair. So I think it's Baby. That's my theory. That's that's Baby. Anyway, beside the point. And like he goes to try and touch it, and like Vanessa's like, no, don't do that. Like these suits can be finicky. Look, and like she like takes like a broom and like activates the spring locks. That was like very dangerous. And he's just all like, bro, like, why didn't you tell me about this earlier? Like, what if Abby came back here and like got tracked in that? And she's like, you're the one who fucking brought him. And I'm like, you know what? She has a point. Vanessa has a point. But then he's just all like, but you know a lot about this. You know a lot about this place. Like, it's kind of strange that you know so much about this place. And she kind of avoids the questions that he's telling her. She's just like, you know what? Just leave it alone. Stop asking me. Just leave it alone. It's done. And out, Abby's on stage with Bonnie and Freddy, and she goes to touch Bonnie's guitar. Vanessa freaks out, and she's like, no, Abby, don't do it. And as she strums the guitar, sparks go flying. She gets electrocuted. She flies off stage. At the end of the shift, Vanessa she threatens to shoot Mike if he ever thinks about bringing Abby back to this restaurant, and then leaves. And Abby's just like, everybody looks at you like that. Like, why do they always look at you like that? And then they go home. Mike decides to call Jane for help to babysit Abby. Which Abby fucking hates. She's so angry at the fact that Mike has called Abby. Because earlier, I glossed over this. Earlier in the movie, I think after night 2, because Vanessa gives Mike a Freddy Fazbear security badge, which was like a prize that you could get. And he gives it to Abby, and Abby's like, meh. And he's just like, I'm trying, okay? Abby, like, I'm trying my best. Puts it, no, you're good. Puts it up in a drawer that has the papers to turn over custody to Jane. Abby goes into the drawer to get back the badge, sees the papers, and then kind of gets upset. She's like, I don't want to go with Jane. I don't like her. She's mean, and she smells of cigarettes. And I thought that was funny. The way that she said it. Like, she's mean, and she smells of cigarettes.
And she just wants the monthly checks.
Fuck Jane.
Because, she doesn't look like she already makes enough money.
I mean, that's usually how it goes. Anyway. So fast forward to again. Let's flash back to the time that we were supposed to be at. So she sees Jane. She's like, "I hate you, Mike. I hate you," and then like locks herself in the room and then scribbles all of Mike, like, because like she has all these pictures on her wall, right, of like Mike and like her friends, her quote unquote friends, and like all these little like things, and she scribbles Mike out of every single one of them. She's like, "Fuck this guy." And just scratches everything off. As Mike goes gets his prescription of sleeping pills. Which that was a funny scene too, because like the pharmacist is like, you know what helps me out? A nice warm glass of milk with chamomile and honey. And then like he just snatches the pills and then walks off, and the pharmacist is like, what an asshole. He's like,
Pharmacist sounds like he's only had mild sleep problems.
not insomnia.
Yeah.
Where, you know, sleeping pills help a lot with that, you know?
Like even sedatives don't seem to work, like in my case.
Yeah. Dude, I've like gulped down so much ZQL and NyQuil once and it still didn't help me sleep. Anyway, beside the point. So he goes back to the restaurant. He goes back to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. I love how it says overdoses on his sleeping pills. He takes one pill. He takes one pill, puts on his
Yeah, he
nature
takes one pill.
sounds, and goes to sleep so that he can meet back with the kids in the dream. And inside the dream, the 5 kids appear again and basically like tell Mike that he could stay with Garrett forever. He can have this dream every night and like it'll be like he never left. But we want Abby. And like he goes to Garrett and like they're like, she's happy with them. They love her and she loves them. Like both Garrett and his mom in the dream are like basically like, yeah, there's nothing you need to worry about. Like just give Abby to them. And he's like, yeah, okay. Like, yeah, you can have Abby. And then whenever he goes to touch Garrett's hair, he gets a flash of Abby whenever he comes home from work and she's sleeping and she wakes up. She's like, you're home. And then he's like, I've made a mistake. I don't want this anymore. I don't want it. Um, and the kids have disappeared. And then I think he starts getting attacked by them, like one by one. Like they just like pop, 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 just like scratching him up, like biting him, like just injuring him really badly. While this is happening, Golden Freddy shows up. Golden Freddy. Well, first you see Jane knocking on Abby's door, and she's like, "You can't be in there forever. Whatever, suit yourself." And then like goes and like sits down and watches TV. And Golden Freddy shows up. Gets Abby, and then whenever Abby and Freddy are by the living room, all you see is Jane's like feet. And you see like her like one of her shoes is knocked off, and the other one's like slightly hanging on her foot. Like she looks like she's been murdered. But Golden Freddy is just like, oh, she's sleeping. She's sleeping. And he's like, let's go back to the restaurant. She's like, how are we gonna get there? And they call a cab. When they get the ride with the taxi driver, she hops in. She's like, where are you gonna go, little lady? And then Golden Freddy pops up and he's like, why do I always get the fucking weirdos? And then I guess he takes her to Freddy Fazbear's. It goes back to the dream. He's getting attacked, and then he wakes up in the same device you saw at the beginning of the movie with the previous um security guard. He is able to get out of the machine, unlike the other security guard, and flees to and like he like escapes the restaurant. He wakes up in an outpost, a medical outpost for the police department. Vanessa helps him. She tells him the truth. Mike tells her what happened in the dream. She's like, well, what happened? And they're like, they asked for Abby and I gave her to them. And she's just all like, oh, she reveals exactly what happened. She's just like, the man who did this is very evil. He's not a great person. He's been doing this for years. Those kids don't want to murder anybody. They're being controlled by this man who has taken them. Those 5 kids who disappeared They searched every nook and cranny. Every inch of that building has been accredited for. But there's one place that they didn't look because he knew that they would they wouldn't think it was possible. It would be the one place that no one would ever think to look. There's not just ghosts in those animatronics, but the children's bodies have been stuffed inside those machines.
Disgusting.
And then he's just like, well, how do you know this? And she's just all like, oh, I'm like, the man who did this is William Afton. That's his name. And I'm his daughter. And me and Zio,
The gasp.
we gasped so hard. That was like the biggest plot twist for us. We were like, oh. And shows gooped. Wig snatched. She shows him a picture of her and William Afton. And that picture, I think shows I think it shows like it looks the same, right? Or does he look younger?
He looks
He
younger,
looks
I
younger.
think.
Okay, yeah. So you don't really know who he is. But he sees the plane in little Vanessa's hands that Garrett had in his hands whenever the car was driving away. And he was like, you knew this. You knew that he took my brother. Like, why would you? And she's like, I try to warn you. I try to warn you in my own way. You didn't want to listen. And he's just like, well, we gotta save Abby. And so she's like, well, like, here's some like electrical prods and what's it called? Tasers. It's not going to stop them, but it'll mess them up enough to where we could save Abby. So they go back to the restaurant, and at the restaurant, like, as Chica is attempting to murder Abby. Oh, well, they're like, hey, you have to go in through the side. Here, look, here's a side vent, you can go in. He goes and he sees that Chica is leading Abby backstage. And so he breaks into the restaurant, has to kind of like sneak a little bit because Freddy's kind of like, Freddy and Bonnie are still on stage doing their little performance. And he throws a bucket of water on stage, puts the electrical prod on the stage, turns it on, and basically fucks up Freddy and Bonnie. He then goes backstage and stops Chica. Like, Chica was leading Abby to the baby spring uh the baby the what is it? Costume. He uses the taser to stop Chica and save Abby. But afterwards, like, as this is happening, Mike is attacked and is separated from Abby again. Um the mascots are eventually defeated. Abby Abby's running through the what is it? The arcade, hiding from Foxy. Hides into the ball pit as Foxy is getting closer and closer and closer. Vanessa electrocutes Foxy and saves Abby. And as they are leaving, you see a new machine, a new costume, a new mascot show up. And it's the yellow rabbit. This yellow rabbit has been mentioned multiple times. You see the yellow rabbit in the opening credits, kind of taking kids one by one. But you don't really see what's happening with those kids. You just see the yellow rabbit leading the kids off one by one. And there's a picture on a wall of drawings of a yellow rabbit holding the hands of 5 kids. as this yellow rabbit is walking out, he's just like, well, you just couldn't leave it alone, Mike. You couldn't, like, the villains doing their monologuing. And he takes off the helmet, and you find Steve.
Dun dun dun.
You find Steve, his career counselor, who reveals that he is William Afton.
Bum bum bum.
What a fucking twist.
I mean, I already knew
I
he was
already
playing
knew.
William
I knew he
Afton.
was
Yeah,
William
it just
Afton.
We all knew.
mainly
Like,
when then
Which
the
he's
beginning scene of like Mike Schmidt. Whoa, I recognize that. I'm like, let me guess, you have something to do with this, don't you?
Yeah.
oh no, I knew. Like, so like whenever they did the casting, whenever they announced the casting, and I saw Matthew Lillard, I was like, oh, he's gonna play William Afton. I already know it. I already know he's gonna be William Afton. Even if the trailers showed him at a desk with the name Steve Raglan, I was like, no, that's an alias. That's not his real name. He's gonna be William Afton. I already know. And then whoop, there it is. I was like, I fucking knew it, bitch. Like, I was like, there's no reason why. Like, why would you send someone named Mike Schmidt? Anyway, so you just Vanessa threatens to shoot William if he doesn't leave Mike and Abby alone. And he's just all like, ha. He's like, oh, what happened to loyalty, Vanessa? Like, aren't you too old to be throwing a temper tantrum? You're supposed to listen to me. And he goes, no, but that's okay, because I have my animatronics. And he reactivates them. As he's like, because he's wearing the yellow rabbit suit. Mike tells Abby, you need to let them know the truth on what he did to these kids. And Abby draws what happens. And as she's doing that, and as William is being distracted by Vanessa, he stabs Vanessa during this conflict. But as this is happening, Mike goes back to the security office, and Abby is drawing this drawing, and she rips off the paper. William Afton sees it. She puts up the new paper, and then the lights go out as Mike turns off the breaker and then turns it back on. And then the first light that pops on is the spotlight for the wall of drawings. And the spotlight hits on a drawing of the yellow rabbit murdering 5 children. And these animatronics see this. And Abby goes, they could see you now. And he's like, what have you done? And the animatronics kind of just like look at this drawing and then look at William. And Mike takes this opportunity to take Abby and Vanessa and get them out of the building. As this is happening, the cupcake flies off and bites a big chunk of William's suit off, where you see the spring locks. And that triggers the spring lock mechanisms, which start piercing into his body, one by one by one. Basically, like, really fucking him up and incapacitating him. As this is happening, I'm saying that a lot. He falls to the ground. He grabs the mascot helmet and he goes like, "I always come," or "I will be back," or "I will be coming back," or something.
I always will come back.
I always will come. That famous line that he says in one of the games. I can't remember which one. But he's like, I always come back," and he puts the helmet on. And then the mascots drag him into a back room. And then it cuts to a different day. Cuts to a different day where you see Abby playing with other kids. with like some building blocks. The caseworker's like, oh yeah, whatever's happened in these past 2 weeks, like that's changed her. Like you keep doing that. He's like, yeah, I will do that. All right, let's go. Gets Abby. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna make a stop. They stop by the hospital. They visit Vanessa. They talk with Vanessa or he talks to Vanessa for a minute. And then leaves. And when they're back home, Abby voices her concerns for the animatronics. She's like, well, they're all by themselves. They're alone. There's nobody there to take care of them anymore. Can we go visit them? And he's like, well, you know what? You never know what's going to happen. You know, like there might be a chance where we could see them again. And it cuts back to Freddy Fazbear's. Freddy Fazbear's is a mess. The ceiling is kind of collapsed. There's lights hanging from the ceilings that are flickering on and off. There it's trashed to all hell. And in a back storage room sits the yellow rabbit, twitching in pain, kind of grunting a bit because he's, hurting real bad. And you see a blonde-haired boy looking at this yellow rabbit. The yellow rabbit reaches out to the little boy. And the little boy just kind of stares at him and then closes the door and locks it. And that's the end of Five Nights at Freddy's. And then there's a secret ending. There is a secret ending. It's the taxi driver. He's sleeping. Someone opened and closes the door, and he's just all like, nope, not today. And then he looks, and it's like a little balloon boy figurine. This balloon boy figurine pops up twice as little jump scares Mike once or twice throughout
Yeah,
the movie.
fucking hate
And,
him so much.
and the taxi and scares the taxi driver. And that is the secret ending. But yep, that is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Dun dun dun. Dun, dun, dun.
I loved this movie.
Sam.
There's a lot of people I've already seen complain about this movie. They're saying that it's not scary enough because, whenever you think Blumhouse, you do think scary movies, like very scary movies. But it's also PG-13, y'all. It can't be that scary. And it's based off a children's video game, and I'm pretty sure that they are trying to market towards the target audience of children because it is a children's game. Just saying that. But as a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It does follow a lot of the plots of the video games, I believe. There is some things that are different, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. That's just my opinion, though.
What's everyone's thoughts on the movie? Other than outside of Housekeeper.
I think it's okay.
Ew.
It's not. It's not
Yeah.
amazing, and it's not garbage. It's stuck in the middle for me.
Are we gonna?
Yeah, I'm about the same enjoyment of this movie. It's alright.
You guys consider yourself Five Nights at Freddy's fans, though?
Why?
I've never played the
Why
game.
does that matter?
I'm just asking, like,
Because I'm admittedly jaded over like having expectations built up over a movie and then having them just never met. So I don't expose
That's fair.
myself to any outside news. I didn't look at any trailers. I didn't get myself hyped about this, and I have played at least the first game, and I liked it pretty well.
Mhm.
And I have listened to the theories, and I've watched other people play. I'm like, oh, this is a fascinating universe. But I was only gonna approach it as like just a movie by itself.
Yeah.
I mean,
As you should.
as you should, because it's not going to if you like, I was gonna approach it kind of like, oh, let's see if they're actually going to follow through with the lore of it. But then, like, whenever I found out that Vanessa's in it, I'm like, well, wait a minute. So things are gonna be different because Vanessa's already in the story. Because Vanessa doesn't show up until Help Wanted. She shows up as a mention. She's just mentioned in Help Wanted as someone who was part of the VR experiment.
Yeah.
And then she shows up as an official character in Security Breach. So I was just like, okay, so I expect things are going to be different. But I didn't think like anything bad of the different. And the fact that like Scott Cawthon was a producer and a writer on it, you know that he's going to like, I feel that he did put in a lot of secret information that was never revealed in the games, like Vanessa being William's daughter.
Well, that's to be seen if it's just a movie thing or if it's the story thing as a whole.
I really hope that
game
it is canon.
I mean, it makes sense. It would make sense for her to be Afton's other daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I like this movie. I was a little worried. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried. I was like, oh, what if this is utter garbage? But I mean, I was the one being like, yeah, it's not gonna follow the games at all. It's gonna be like the novels. It's gonna be something it's gonna be in the same realm, same, but really different.
Novels also explain some of like what's like, oh, like those nodes that are in Sister Location.
Yes, but the novels are way different than the games.
That's true.
There's not the same continuity.
That's true.
But because I was thinking, okay, cool, the movies are gonna be like the novels. There are 3 different continuities, 3 different things. I'm not gonna go in expecting the games because honestly, no, you just play the game. I like what they did though. The fact that it was PG-13, again, not surprised. They want to cater to the younger audience, since that was since the franchise does have a big following in the younger demographic, which is it's like the whole Slenderman, like the Slender games, how that was a horror game, but yet the younger audience likes it, and you're just like, okay, kids shouldn't be playing these things, but they do.
Well, I remember.
But this movie, I mean, outside of a few jump scares and stuff, I think you could take kids to see this movie.
Actually, I'll say this: my son watched this movie today.
We did?
Yes, he did. So I was watching it as I was getting my wig, my boyfriend's wig, and my son's wig ready for our costumes. And I had to go pick up my son. He came back and he saw that I was in the middle of watching the movie. He watched the ending with me and he's like, "Can you restart it? I want to watch the whole thing." And I was like, "Okay." As he was watching it, I had him painting his pumpkin, and I was going to cover his eyes on the bite scene. That was my plan whenever I watched it on Wednesday with Zio. I took a nap. I was tired. I took a nap, and all I heard was like, "Oh, he bit her," and I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Shit." He saw it. But the plus side is that you don't see it. You only see like the shadow part.
The silhouette, the shadow.
Yeah, you only see the shadow. And like his school also had like a little like Halloween dance. They call it the Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash. Anyway. They call it the Monster Mash. We went and like we sat there while we were eating our pizza. He was just like, "You know what? That movie wasn't that scary." And he goes, and I was like, "Yeah," like, and I was like, "Yeah, I told you you'd be able to watch it." He goes, "Yeah." And I was like, well, what do you think of the bite scene? He goes, no, it wasn't scary. I didn't see anything. And he goes, like, all I saw was the shadows. Mind you, this kid's 9 years old. He talks a
Yeah.
lot older than he is sometimes. And he's like, no, I didn't see anything, you know? So like, and I was like, I was able to cover his eyes on the spring lock parts, because that part I don't
Yeah.
think he'd be able to handle, because you see the spring locks, 2 of them
Yeah.
start to dig into his body, and then the rest of
Yeah.
them are kind of like, you just see him like, and you see the clang clang.
Yeah.
But you know, like, those parts I covered his eyes because I knew that he wouldn't be able to handle that part. But he was fine. He's perfectly fine. He wasn't scared. He could handle it. He's 9. So I think it's perfectly fine it's perfectly rated PG-13. I believe so.
Yeah. Agreed.
Again, though, I was watching horror movies at 13. So
I was, yeah. I mean, I
Look.
wasn't, yeah. Yeah.
my first scary movie was Resident Evil 2. And then I watched The Grudge right after.
Oh my God. I think one of mine was like Resident Evil 2. I watched that one like it was like religious because it was always on TV.
Oh, my dad is a big zombie fan. He likes zombie shit. So he played Resident Evil 2, and then he was just all like, "Oh, you want to watch the first one?" And I was like, "Yeah, the second one wasn't so bad, so the first one might not be so bad." I was wrong. I was wrong. That crawling mistakes were made at the ripe old age of 13, because crawling zombies still freak me out to this day because of that movie.
And
Anyway, beside the point.
and I mean, we're all here. We love the genre of the horror for reasons, not cue housekeeper. It's because you find okay,
You
say
find
it,
comfort.
housekeeper.
So you find comfort in it because
Uh-huh.
your childhood
Mhm.
trauma.
Oh,
Because
your life is chaotic.
of chaos and
Yes.
panic. So you go in search of chaos and panic through horror.
If you all are sitting there going, God damn, she didn't have to say that loud. And you are correct. You are correct every time. Every time.
It's like, I guess watching something that you couldn't handle as a child, as an adult, you're like, oh, I'm big enough to handle this now.
No, it's just I've been through so much
No,
shit.
no,
You're just like, oh, this is nothing.
No. It's it's literal just childhood trauma. You growing up with so much trauma in your life that it's become a baseline that whenever like things are calm and normal, you freak out because you're not used to things being calm and normal. So you go in search of horror movies because they give you that sense of panic that you're so used to having growing up.
Quiet the fuck down over there.
And I'm all like, wait a minute.
I found it was a TikTok that said that because I found that first, and then I'm like, you better pipe the fuck down over there, bitch.
I'm the one who sent it to you, bitch. I
You better pipe the fuck down.
I felt called out too, because I was like, wait.
Damn.
I was like, I don't have childhood.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yes, I do. Because I talk to my boyfriend about it all the time. And he's just all like, you need therapy. And I was like, I have a therapist. I have one. Anyway.
But this movie was pretty good. I mean, I have no complaints. I'm excited to see what they do next. So before we get into theories, because I have a bunch. Symbolism.
I thought we weren't gonna discuss symbolism because I didn't find shit.
Okay, cool. Symbolism. Great. So
no symbolism. Got it.
There's not really, I mean, not really. Not really. There are Easter eggs spread throughout, but those are Easter eggs, not symbolism. The souls that I guess the symbolism would be like each child's dressed like their animatronic in the colors.
Yeah.
So like the girl that's Chica is the only girl there, but she's also wearing a yellow shirt. Foxy is a ginger. Freddy's wearing a top hat.
I was thinking
Bonnie's
of less overt stuff.
Ears.
Yeah.
Well,
and then like Golden Freddy
is blonde boy.
Because I was in the theater going 1, 2. Why is there 5? Oh my god, Golden Freddy. I'm like, oh my God.
What's the symbolism of the ketchup pouring on the burger? I don't know, blood. What's the symbolism of the Coke falling over? Get the idea that maybe something's not right with the scene, just a slightly off kilter. Oh no, my brother's getting kidnapped.
I like
Now
I like
theories.
the age changing from the kid to him being adult.
Yes.
Because
That was
like
cool.
that could be symbolism within itself, that he is still
Yeah.
chasing he's still chasing the car, that like he's chasing the past.
Yeah.
That's symbolism.
Trauma.
He's chasing the past.
Trauma. Wama. Yep.
Trauma.
Wama. Let's see. I guess we'll go on. I mean, there's Golden Freddy, which is all kinds of weird, but that's not really symbolism. Theories. We're going to theories. So things. Okay. Well, things they have changed and things and theories. So things that have changed. Okay. Oh, this goes into one of my theories. All right. So Vanessa
Mm-hmm.
in the games is she? Spoiler alert! Spoilers ahead for the games if you haven't played them. Vanessa is a security guard in one of the games when she first gets introduced, outside of being mentioned one other time. She is also has a piece of Afton's possessing her body without her knowing. Well, she kind of figures it out, but nonetheless, and she becomes a rabbit suited serial killer known as Vanny. Right?
It's due to so in Help Wanted, there's a virus they call glitch trap.
Yes.
This virus can possess your brain, because it's happened to more than one person, possess your brain and control you. So they kind of like locked it up. They kind of ended this experiment for the VR, but somehow like you're one of the people that can go back. In the tapes, it mentions Vanessa being
Yeah.
someone that was completely corrupted by this virus that she got through the VR testing, which is how she's able to be controlled and turned into Vanny in Help Wanted.
So how Vanessa's going to
I'm
become
sorry,
Vanny?
not Help Wanted, Security Breach.
So how's Vanessa's going to become Vanny? Here's my theory: the fact that she's in a coma right now.
Ooh.
I feel like Afton is doing some wonky bullshit, right? And I think when she wakes up from that coma in the second film, this is going to be the second film. When she wakes up in that coma, she is going to be obviously she's going to be with Mike Schmidt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my guess, here's how I would do it. There's in the beginning of the movie, Vanessa gets out. She's like, cool, I can start all over. And then she starts cleaning out her dad's house and slowly starts getting into the house and start cleaning it out, getting rid of shit, whatever, mind you, right? And every night, during the nights, there are cases of like this weird bunny figure going around, right? And it always ends up going back to that house. And then Vanessa starts waking up randomly in the middle of the night or the morning at her father's house.
Now, is this house the one that you see across the street in the movie?
That's my theory, yes. And
I pointed that out in the theater.
I know.
Like, hey, that house is right across the street.
That's Afton's house.
From Five Nights at Freddy's, which was known to be Afton's house's sister location underneath the house.
Yes. So she finds to find out that her father is in her head. Somehow, some way, that'll be explained. And she's Vanny. Mike finds out. They try to find a way to get him out of her head. And then throw in sister location, because maybe Vanny's trying to get down to the basement to sister location for whatever reason.
Laura.
Oh, that girl, buckle up. I got theories. Okay, buckle up. Okay, so outside of her becoming Vanny, sister location is going to be the second movie, right? That's how I would do it. Sister location, second movie. And then the whole thing is Vanny, sister location, baby, Ballora, all that fun shit. And at the end of the second one, they get Vanny, aka William, out of her head, right? And they think, oh, William's gone. Ooh, no. And at the end of the second one, we go back to Springtrap, his body, the animatronic.
I do got a question though, because isn't the second game? It's based in the restaurant, but it's changed into a haunted house, right? Like they changed it into a haunted house that's Five Nights at Freddy's themed.
Yes, but they're not. I don't think they're going to hit all that. But I'll get to that. I'm getting to that. I'm getting to those, like the toy. I don't think they're going to use everything because they're supposedly only making 3 movies. They're not going to hit every single attraction and shit. They're probably not. They're just not. So I'm saying that as far as the story is going right now, here's how I think they're going to play out because here's how I would do it. So sister location, blah, blah, blah. Afton's trying to get down to sister location for whatever God-forsaken reason. They beat Vanny. Afton gets out of Vanessa's head, and she's like, "Oh, Afton's dead! Woo!" He possesses Springtrap again. Then third one, Springtrap comes back. Starts hunting them down. And then they had to find a way to lead him back into Five Nights at Freddy's, the original
Oh
restaurant.
my God, they're gonna burn down the restaurant that time.
Yes, that's when Mike Schmidt's father's gonna come into the picture. Henry. Mike Schmidt in the movie franchise, my theory, and it stands because if you watch the instructional video of the Five Nights at Freddy's in the movie, the guy working on the animatronics is the same actor as playing Mike Schmidt's father in the flashback dreams.
Yeah, you're right.
I think
you're right.
Mike Schmidt is not Michael Schmidt. Michael, instead of being Afton, I think he's Emily. Michael Emily. He is one of Henry's children because he does mention that his mother died and his father couldn't be bothered. His father's still alive somewhere. So I think Henry's going to come into the picture in the third one. And like in I can't remember if it's the books or if it's the games, because one of the continuities, an animatronic kills him and he lets an animatronic kill him. And in the other one, he's the one that sets the place on fire with him and Afton in it. I just can't remember which one's which, but one of them is he lets an animatronic kill him. The other one, he sets Five Nights at Freddy's on fire with himself in it and Afton for them both to burn. But nonetheless, I think Henry's going to come in and he's going to be the one to set the place on fire with Afton in it, and then that will just be the end of Afton from there. If they're going to stick to 3 movies. So Mike Schmidt is a child of Henry. Now, with Afton's other kids and his wife. Now, it's never been confirmed. It's only been speculated. But, I mean, it's pretty apparent on who the ballerina is. It's always been speculated that that's Miss Afton, William Afton's wife. Never been proven, never been officially announced that that's actually his wife. It's been theorized, but honestly, the truth is kind of in the pudding right there. It's his wife. So I think, and it'd be cool in the movie if Vanny gets if they go that route, if Vanny gets in the sister location and releases the animatronics to sick on Mike and whoever else, that he makes a comment saying, references his wife as Ballora. And then, of course, Baby is Afton's other daughter.
Baby.
And Garrett. Now, Garrett is, I don't think in the games, I think he's the original character. Now, the marionette, now the puppet is Henry's daughter. The one that Afton killed outside the restaurant.
You think that the puppet's going to be Abby?
No, Garrett. I think Garrett's going to be the puppet. I think they're changing it around where Garrett's going to be the puppet this time because Henry lost a child to Afton, and that's who became the puppet.
Yes.
The only child that, in this case, Henry lost was Garrett. So I think Garrett's going to become the puppet. And I think the puppet's going to play a role in 2 or 3. Or probably both, because honestly, the puppet was in there for the fire as well, because Henry addressed his daughter, Charlotte, I think was her name, or some shit like that. Some shit like that. He addressed his daughter, the puppet, and of course, when everything was burning. So I'm sure the puppet's gonna come into play, and I'm sure that's Garrett. that's going to be Garrett. Because I thought it was going to be Golden Freddy, but then Golden Freddy was actually in the movie. So I think Garrett, the missing child that was killed, is going to be the puppet. And he's going to be out for revenge against Afton as well. And it's probably going to be one of those things where the puppet tries to attack Vanessa. And they're like, why is he attacking Vanessa? Why is this thing attacking Vanessa? And it turns out that Afton's in her head. And the puppet's trying to get him out. So it's probably going to be a misleading thing where the puppet's the enemy when the puppet's really not. That's how I would do it. Makes perfect sense. But I that's my theory. That's my main theory, though, that Mike is Mike Emily and his father's Henry. And we're probably going to see more Henry at some point. I think that's all my theories. Oh, and then maybe the third one, they might bring like the toy animatronics or other animatronics that Afton was working on if he comes back as Springtrap again after leaving Vanessa's head. He might be like, I'm gonna release the atrocities of these animatronics I fucking created here, and release like the toy or the glam rock ones. I'm sure some of the other ones will show up. Yeah. And on top of that, I think if they ever show, it'd be cool to show like a flashback of Vanessa as a child, and she has nightmares of the nightmare animatronics. So she'll be the child seeing the nightmares.
The child from
the third one.
The third one.
Yeah. Where they're seeing the nightmare animatronics. I have a feeling that they're going to, because Vanessa was always intermingled in all this. Just like flashbacks and shit with her as a child, or they even continue haunting her now when she has like nightmares of everything that's happened throughout her life with being Afton's child and how she's kind of an accomplice. I'm thinking they could bring in the nightmare animatronics from 3 to be her nightmares, her guilt and shit that came along with that. Or she's the bite of 87, you know? That could be a thing too, or her brother, or maybe she has a sibling that's like that too, or some shit. I don't know. There's a lot they can do, but I don't think they're going to hit all the attractions and shit because it just wouldn't make sense as far as the movie goes. But I could see them bringing in like Sister Location in the basement, of course, and Vanny. That's how I would do it. Vanny goes into Sister Location to try to, for whatever reason, releases Ballora, Baby, and the other animatronics down there. Get him out. Third one, he possesses Springtrap one last time. Henry comes into the picture again. Daddy burns everything to the ground after they fight more animatronics. While Vanessa will be having nightmares during that one about the nightmare animatronics or some shit. There's a lot you could do, but that's how I think. That's what it looks like it's going to go. Will they do that? I have no idea. Probably not. But it'd be cool. So, those are my theories. Anyone else have any theories?
I just have a theory that the house across the street was Afton's house.
I mean, it would make sense because they put a lot of emphasis on that house for whatever reason.
Not really. You just see it in the background.
It was in a shot randomly. The only thing over there across the street was that house. Randomly. That's suspicious.
That's weird.
And the fact that Henry, the person working on the animatronics in the video, is also the same actor. And I'm like, that's suspicious. So
Don't be suspicious.
But yep, Matt Chairman.
Well, it did explain a little thing because I'm like, okay, all these animatronics have souls in them, and yet Garrett is killed. Who does he possess? And it's not answered in the movie. So this theory of like, he's going to be the puppet. And I'm like, oh,
that's my theory. If they don't do it, what the hell? I was like, where are they going to put him if they're not the puppet? The puppet makes the most sense.
Yeah.
To me. But
I love how Afton's like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, I killed your brother, and now I'm gonna kill you too, and your sister. He he. I was like, damn,
And
bro.
your little dog too.
And your little dog
wolf.
too.
Woof.
I was like, damn, bro.
Anything else, Bunya?
I don't have anything to really add theory wise to this movie, but it did
Mm-hmm.
get me to think about it a little more.
Mm-hmm. 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 I really do love the choice of making Vanessa Afton's daughter instead of Michael. I like it. I like it. It fits. It fits. Oh my god! When they kill Springtrap in the third, sorry, I was like, they could bring back innards. So like after they kill Springtrap, maybe all the animatronics come together that are in pieces that are not possessed by children, because not all of them are possessed by children.
Right.
But like maybe the leftover remnants he gets in workings with, and he becomes innard. And then they burn the place to the ground with innard in it. T.
Doesn't he possess Innard?
Who? Afton? No. Innard's like a conglomerate of souls, I think. He's like multiple souls or some shit. Or he's Michael or some shit. But I'm like, that'd be a great way to bring in Innard. Is Innard's like his Afton's last hurrah to try to win when Henry's like, nah, fuck you, bitch. Papa.
Sorry.
What?
I don't know if you heard me just like Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
The I'm painting while we're talking, and the brush that I've been using, like the brush head keeps falling off. So I'm like, time for me to get a different fucking brush because that shit's pissing me off.
Matt Chairman, any thoughts?
Not really, honestly. I wasn't really that invested in this movie, and I didn't really play the game, so I didn't have any stake going into it. I just y'all told me to watch this movie, and I was like, okay, and then it was kind of mid. So
Ew.
All right, so getting into rating system, we'll do 1 out of 5, 1 to 5 cupcakes. What is everyone's rating of this movie?
I'm going to go with 3, which is slightly above in the middle of the road. Because, like I said, I thought it was an okay movie. And I know tons of people love the franchise, and there's a massive community around it. And you're totally allowed to really, really like something.
Yeah.
I just happen to like it sort of okay. And that's
That's
really
fair.
it. Like, I don't have anything that I think is terrible about the movie, but I don't have a lot of praise to give it. The only thing was like some stuff seemed kind of predictable to me. Not necessarily,
That's
not
fair.
necessarily like Matthew Lillard is clearly William Afton. It was just like seeing that he was going to be the twist villain at the end because he seems to play such a minor role. But then they're like, oh, he's probably going to show up later because they expect us to forget, and there he is. Or that scene where Josh Hutcherson tackles the guy and beats the shit out of him. And I'm like, that just looks like an angry dad getting his kid like, oh, here you are. Come on. Like, I've seen agitated parents. Kids are a handful.
I grabbed Dean like that before. I have
Yeah,
grabbed my son like that before.
Like if it was a legit kidnapping, they would have been like made sure that there was no one around and would have been like handing them something like, "Hey, you like games? I got a whole van full of them." Like that would look like a kidnapping.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's 3 out of 5. It's not a bad film. And I am looking forward to seeing the other ones.
I guess I'll go. I didn't really have much of an opinion about this movie because I didn't, have any background with it. So yeah. The kills didn't really do it for me. Nothing really caught my interest. I didn't. I watched it. It was kind of on, and I didn't really care. So it was honestly just a 2.5 because it like kind of what Bunyip had said. It wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't interesting to me. I sure if I had all the knowledge going into it, I probably would have been way more
Into it. Yeah.
paid more attention to it, but I just didn't. So that was kind of just my experience with it.
All right. Nothing wrong with that. Housekeeper?
Give it a 4. I really enjoyed the movie. Since Wednesday, I've watched it 3 times. Well, including Wednesday, I've watched it 3 times.
Yeah.
The second time was so that I could see if there's anything that I missed, any other Easter eggs, which there were a few that we didn't talk about. One of them being Matt Pat. Matt Pat was in it. Anybody
Yeah.
who is a big fan of Five Nights at Freddy's knows that Matt Pat is one of the biggest Five Nights at Freddy's theorists. He is also one of the few theorists that Scott Cawthon has said that he is like 90% accurate, or like very close to being like 100% accurate in his theories of the things that Scott has left out of the games on purpose. There was another YouTuber, one that I didn't recognize. I didn't even know he was a YouTuber until my son told me about him. Honestly, I'm so sorry, dude. I apologize. And that was the taxi driver. My son was actually thoroughly upset because he was expecting FGTV's Duddy to be in the movie, and apparently the role got given to this other YouTuber, and Duddy was upset, and it made my son upset because FGTV is one of his favorite channels, understandably so, because Markiplier was also supposed to be in this movie, and Mark voiced out that due to scheduling conflicts, because he was filming his film Iron Lung, which will be out in theaters as well, due to due to filming conflicts, he just wasn't able to make it. But he says that there is a guarantee that he will most likely be in the second film, that there is a spot for him in the second film whenever they get started on that. So I don't remember if there was any other Easter eggs that I can think of with that. I enjoyed it. I was gonna go into the movie with expectations that was gonna be similar to the games in certain ways. Like plot wise, I actually enjoyed the difference of the game plot and the movie plot. There was some things that, like some dialogue that I feel like it was just like, okay, it didn't need to be put in there, but it was. But other than that, like I love the movie. I'll watch it again. I'll happily watch it again. It was one that I thoroughly enjoyed. Uh, I can't wait for the second one. Let it come out next year, please. Like, please. I can't wait soon enough. So yes, I'm going to be giving it a 4.
I will be giving it a 4 as well. This movie was pretty fun. I had a lot of fun seeing it. I mean, it was also great that we saw it for free at a preview screening on a Wednesday night.
Yes, that
I literally, because I was working and I'm like, I should probably start working and getting there because I'm sure people are gonna get there early. So my ass got there at like 3:30, and I'm like, I'm too goddamn early, but if I know if I continue working, I'm gonna be late.
I love
So I sat
I
there
love how
in my car for an hour.
I love how we met up, and then like we were
Yeah.
like, these people aren't here to see Five Nights at Freddy's, and I was like, those people might, and you're like, no, those people aren't. And then we see this other group come in, and we're like, Those
Yeah,
there.
those are.
Those are there, and we're like, okay, time to go inside. And then lo and behold, those people were
Yeah.
right in front of us.
Yeah.
Fine. We're like, yeah, we know the crowd. We know the crowd that was there.
We know the crowd. the Five Nights at Freddy's crowd. We know them.
It was so funny. We're like, yeah, they look like
It was
they would
great.
be Five Nights.
Here for Five Nights at Freddy's.
Not that like it
Um,
wasn't like we weren't judging, like because obviously we were
No.
there.
Obviously, we were there.
We were there, so we're
we were
part of that
fucking there.
crowd. But we're like, yeah, they look
Yeah.
like one of us.
So, but yeah, a 4 out of 5 because it was great. It was great. It was fun. It wasn't. I kind of like the fact that it changed the lore, changed the story. It gave it a nice story. It gave it more than just computer screens, security screens. It gave Mike Schmidt more. I think honestly, I kind of like what they did with Mike Schmidt, and then of course Vanessa.
They gave him more of a story,
Yeah,
other than like the theory of who Mike Schmidt actually is.
yeah. But yeah, 4 out of 5. So we got 2 4s, a 3, and a 2.5. What does that average out to?
3.375
A solid 3
out of 5 instead of a 3 out of 10 because we're not IGN.
Yeah. Yeah. Ew.
Mhm.
Too much plot. Girl, get it together, IGN.
Like it's a movie. What the
Get it
fuck
to
do you want
fucking
it to be?
together.
I've never heard that complaint about any
Ever.
movie.
Well,
Well, girl, there was that Pokemon remake of the 3rd generation games. It's just too much water
no.
for the Hoenn games. And I'm like,
What's that Leonardo DiCaprio movie that he actually won the Oscar for? Revenant or some shit?
Yeah, it's the Revenant.
I
Yeah.
fucking hate that movie.
why?
It was so boring. It was so boring.
What does that have to do? What does that have to do with IGN?
Too much plot.
Oh.
Like,
But
yeah, too much plot.
as of right now,
Yeah.
on Friday night, Five Nights at Freddy's has made about 10.3 million during Thursday night's previews. So they've already made half their budget on Thursday night. Last night, they made half their budget already domestically. And to put in a comparison, Oppenheimer made 9 million. Their Thursday night preview screenings.
That sucks for them.
So the fact that Five Nights at Freddy's has already made 10 million, and that's half their budget because their budget's only 20 million. Which, by the way, props to I had to give props to the freaking Jim Henson company that made the animatronics
Those animatronics are beautiful.
for not going CGI and for them to get the people who made the Muppets. Yes, girl,
I wish
they chose best.
I wish I was at Halloween Horror Nights. Like, oh
Right?
my God, to go to California and to see them in person, I would have cried. I'd be like, look at them, they're so pretty. They did such a good job on those animatronics, really.
They did. Props to you guys. So yes, go see it. It is in theaters, but you can also watch it on Peacock. So if you have Peacock, you can watch it on there. I'm sure people are going to stream the hell out of this movie, as well as honestly, if it makes 50 million opening weekend, it's a box office success. Like,
It really is.
Blumhouse is a master at stretching a budget, a small budget, and making huge big bucks off it. So that's what they do best. So, but yes, go watch it. If you love Five Nights at Freddy's, or if you love just a fun movie, not really to take it too seriously. Has kind of campy moments and jokes in it every so often. The animatronics have personalities that are just camp. So I mean,
Dude, I love them.
I know the narrow side eye. I love it. The slow.
I love them. I love those animatronics so much.
But yes, so thank you guys for listening to today's episode. Happy Halloween again if you're listening to this on or around Halloween, because this comes out the Saturday before. So enjoy your spooky time as we head into November.
Be safe out there. Make sure that
Yes.
you guys have your flashlights. And like if you're going
Yes.
trick-or-treating, have your flashlights, have your location on so your friends know where you are. All that
Yep.
good shit,
Check your
check your
candy.
candy. If you're adults,
Yep.
drink responsibly. Make sure you
Yeah.
drink water in between your drinks. Do you hear me? And then if you are drunk, make sure you have a designated driver. Call a taxi or
Yeah.
an Uber, or if you can't
Yeah.
physically do it yourself, a bartender will do it for you. This is coming from someone who used to be a bartender. Let them. They will happily let you. Like they will get you a taxi for you. Because
Yeah.
they will lose their job. Like they can lose their job.
Or if you're at a friend's house, have your friend take you home, or stay the night at their place.
Say the shit. That's what I'm gonna do on Saturday. That's what I'm doing tonight. Well, it's gonna be coming out tonight. That's what I'm doing tonight.
Oh my god.
I can't
I'm
wait.
driving. I'm being designated driver for 2 people.
I can't wait. to
That's
see
just
it
fine because I can't. I'm not drinking that much. I'm not gonna be drinking much anyways.
Oh my god! So I have my costume. I look just like her.
Cool. On that note, catch y'all next week as we talk about something else that is ooky spooky. Until then, bye.
Bye.